Covent Garden, one of my favourite places in the world. We don't need to listen to all of the hustle bros. I worked in Fat Face and I was like, how dare you tell me what to do? Marketing is what gets the ball closer to the goal and sales is what scores the goal. Getting on a stage makes me feel physically sick. Like, let's just keep it simple. I like Oliver Bonas and next to a lot of good colour M&S as well.
Hey London Business Babe. This community is built for us and by us to ungatekeep your next move and life in the city. If you never want to miss out, subscribe to the Substack where episodes will land straight in your inbox. Plus, every other Monday, you'll get a chance to feature on the show by shouting yourself out in the Manifest Monday email. You never know who's listening. Details in the show notes. Now, grab a cup of coffee or your favourite beverage and let's get into today's interview. Hello and welcome to Coffee and Oysters, the London Business Babe podcast, where we get you together with business tips that actually work and let you know where it's worth tapping your oyster around the city. My name is Frances Adair Matthews. I'm a certified Notion consultant and founder of the Notion Bar, where I get my clients together with personalised productivity systems built in Notion. This one is for all the marketing girlies and the wannabe marketing girlies. Today's guest is Meg Hutson, who is the marketing strategy expert for bold service business owners ready to ditch the marketing mess and build a clear plan that you'll actually stick to. So excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I love that. I'm not often described as a marketing girly, so I love it.
I think you are. You definitely are. I think in your emails and stuff, I'm like, I need to bump up my email marketing. It's really good. You're very good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's literally my job. So, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, how is your week going?
Like we were just saying, it feels like such a long week. Like I don't really know what's happened this week, but it's been awesome. I've been running my new group program, which has been so much fun. Like the shifts people are seeing. Someone tagged me in a post earlier saying how much I challenged them, and I was like, oh, I hope that's loving. That's a loving challenge. But that's what I'm here for. So loving that. Had a lot of discovery calls this morning. Some good, some not so good, as I think we've all experienced. Some way you're sat there like, I don't think this is a fit, but it's having the confidence to say that, isn't it? So yeah, got a bit of all of it this week.
Yes, yeah, I've definitely had some of those through recently. Well, sometimes it's just like, it's just so complicated and like over-engineered. I could do it. I don't think I want to take this on.
Oh, exactly. And like this one, he was like bitching about all these marketing agencies that he'd worked with and how he'd had to tell them their content with like effing whatever. And I was sat there thinking, well, I'm not going to work with you then, am I? Like, yes, maybe I could do a better job, but I don't want to.
Like red flag. It's like if you like get into a relationship with someone and they're like, all my exes were crazy.
You're the problem.
Like, you are the common denominator.
They think it makes them sound like all big and clever, don't they? Whereas really you're just like, nope, run away.
Incredible. But yeah, so excited to chat today. We'll definitely dig into your group program as well. But I want you to take the listeners, viewers back. Like, what was the journey to get into where you are as a self-proclaimed marketing girly?
I've had such a weird journey. I left school when I was 16. I've always suffered with chronic health, chronic pain, and it got to a point where it was just like, this is ridiculous. Let's just leave. So I left, ended up starting a shop with my mum. So literally I spent my 18th birthday painting the walls of this shop, which I think I put on Instagram today actually, and it was so much fun. We did that for 3 years, and my mum's very creative, so we sold a lot of painted furniture. We started out by selling like gift cards, stuff like that, but we had to figure out all the business stuff, so that ended up becoming my thing because I've always loved business. And that kind of just turned into marketing because obviously you have this business, you have this shop, and you're like, we need some customers. So I actually went and studied with the CIM, which is the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I did that for a while, and just through like learning as I went, we built that business. It was very successful in the end, and then we kind of closed that so that I could go and travel. But I've pretty much always been self-employed in some form since, because a lot of people do it the other way around, don't they, where they're employed and they go, I want to be self-employed. For me, I'd been self-employed. Going into a job after that, I went and worked in Fat Face for a few months, and I was like, how dare you tell me what to do?
Yeah,
are. Like, in a very soft way, because I'm not a confrontational person and I'm definitely not trouble. But in my head, I'm like, well, that's a silly idea. We should do it differently. I went and worked in finance for an interior design company. But I pretty much straight away, I was like, can I do your marketing? Because no one was doing their marketing. They were not a company that appreciated marketing. They were very much, we have a sales team. That's what they are for. And
Yeah.
as people in marketing and a lot of other people know, they are different things.
But you need to get people into the funnel, babe. Like,
Yes. And the way I now describe it is like a football pitch. And like, I don't know all the names of the different footballers, but the idea being that marketing is what gets the ball closer to the goal, and then sales is what scores the goal, right? And that's how I got into freelancing originally, because I then went traveling and I was like, can I do this while I'm traveling? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I did that for a while, and that's what kind of first introduced me to being able to freelance in marketing. And then it came back round years later to then being like, actually, this is what I want to do. I love business. I love being able to work for myself. I really love helping business owners. That lights me up so much. And marketing is a great way to do it. So in a very short snapshot, that is how I got into marketing.
fantastic. And like, what have been some of the biggest learning curves for you along the way in terms of setting yourself up
Very
like
many.
properly as a freelancer?
The biggest thing is like clarity, as in having clarity in what it actually is that you do. Because for me,
Mm.
when I came back around to freelancing, so about 5 years ago now, I was working full time in the NHS. I dropped a day a week so that I could focus on like outreach. So I was just emailing hundreds and hundreds of marketing agencies, because I was like, that's an easy in. They've got all this work. They can give some to me, basically, was my idea. But I was just going in being like, do you need help with marketing? And they were like, what? Like, I don't mind any marketing, because I've done ads, I've done content, I've done all of these different things. And they were like, well, no, we want somebody who specializes in content, who specializes in paid ads, whatever it might be. So I lost out on so much work because I was too vague. And we all do it. I literally was chatting to a woman this morning who was saying the same, that when you start out, you try and offer everything because you think it's going to bring you more work. You think, well, if I say I can do all those different things, surely one of them will land. Whereas really, it makes you invisible, because what do you do? Who are you? Like, you're just so forgettable. You don't specialize in anything. So that was probably my biggest learning curve. And it wasn't until years after that that I could fully see what had happened. But
Mm.
that's what I would definitely say to anybody starting out: have something, anything that you specialize in, and be really, really clear on that one thing.
Amazing.
So I work with solo founders, generally coaches, consultants, people who have been their client. So a few years ago, they were in X situation, they discovered how to get out of it. They've now built a business around helping other people solve that. So I help people, my framework starts with purpose. So it's all about purpose and personality at the start. Why are you actually doing this? And then it's about your audience, your offer, your messaging, and your content. So everything I do is very content related. It's very much heavy on messaging, being specific. And the main thing I change for people is bringing simplicity. So rather than trying to do every marketing tactic under the sun that we're all thrown as business owners, like you mentioned email marketing before, we're told we have to do all of it or we're a failure. I help them to actually step back and go, well, what's actually working? Because you can't do all of those things well. Like, we have such limited time, and we have to remember that big agencies or, corporates have entire teams of marketing people, and half the time they're still not even doing it very well. So, how can we just pick one or two things that work for us and do them really well? That's what I specialize in.
And have you had to get training in any capacity to help you be a better business person, essentially?
I invest so much money, and I do a lot of free training. So I watch a lot of webinars, listen to a lot of podcasts, all of that. I currently have two business coaches. I worked with a speaking coach last year.
Mm.
I've worked with all kinds of people, and I wish I'd done that sooner as well. Like, I only started doing that a year or two ago. And if I'd done that 3 or 4 years before that, I would be miles and miles ahead of where I am right now if I'd done that sooner. So yes, I invest a lot and I learn a lot all the time.
Amazing. What does a speaking coach teach you? I'm fascinated.
Teaches me how to be less terrified of getting on stage because I'm very happy chatting like this. I'm happy presenting online. Like that makes me, I'm less nervous than I used to be. That used to terrify me. But getting on a stage and talking makes me feel so physically sick. I can't even explain. So that's why I signed up for that because I know I want to host my own events. I know I want to be speaking on stages. I know I've got huge amounts of value to share. But the fear stops me from even applying. And it's not fear of like, it's not, am I going to have enough to say or any of that? It's a little bit people looking at me, but it's mainly just the fact that I get myself panicked and then my mind goes entirely blank. And the idea of getting on a stage and that happening is like the worst thing I can think of. So that's why I signed up with a speaking coach. And so she did a lot of, obviously they'll do different things, but the one I worked with was quite heavy on like breath work and stuff like that. So it was very much about calming yourself. It was bits of like visualization of like, what do you want it? How do you want it to go? Picture that. And it's much more likely to happen. And she was very heavy on storytelling in giving a talk as well. So helped us really like craft a signature talk that told our story and shared our message so that we can get up and talk confidently without being like, I'm just sharing boring facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So speaking something that you're looking to expand on in your business is like a money earner for you, essentially.
Yes. Paid gigs, but more so just visibility because it
Mm.
builds authority, doesn't it? If you see somebody on stage, you trust them at the end of the day. So a lot of that of just building authority, it allows you to meet more people, but as well as obviously ideally getting paid for them. But I don't think that's very common now. It's quite hard to get paid speaking gigs from what I hear. But I'm got an event in a few weeks actually, mid-March, and that is just a 20 minutes at like a business expo. I don't really quite understand what it is, but they invited me and I was like, okay,
Sure.
why not? I'll do 20 minutes and that will be on making marketing human because that's really big to me. It's like we're not AI, we're not bots, we are humans. Like I say, purpose is the center of everything I do, and how we don't need to listen to all like the hustle bros and the gurus telling us we have to do all this stuff. Like let's just keep it simple, basically. So I'm doing that, and then I am hosting an event, co-hosting in May in London, which will be wonderful, and it's given me a bit more confidence to actually be able to do that as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot more about almost like anti-AI, anti-like growth marketing at at the
Yeah.
moment. I think people are kind of going back to this more like human side of things. Like there's one guy on LinkedIn where he's a photographer, but he sends newspapers to people on his like physical mailing list,
Yeah.
essentially, of like all of the work that he's done in that past
I
quarter and
like
stuff, and just
that.
like little human touches like that.
Yeah.
What does making marketing more human mean to you?
For me, it's authenticity. That's a
Mm.
huge part of it. It's definitely a buzzword and all of that, but it's a buzzword for a reason. Like because of AI, and I'm not against AI as a thing, as a concept, but when people are using it to replace their own voice, then it's really a problem. And it's a lot of the reason that people are getting bored of LinkedIn and most social media platforms because it's just AI and it all sounds the same. So to me, making marketing human is about making sure that your stories, your voice, and your personality are actually coming across, and that you're doing it in a really genuine way that actually connects with the clients that are right for you. So rather than it being about who can I sell to, who can I get, it's more about like I'll put out who I am online, and that attracts the right people, and it also repels people, which is scary but really, really needed.
Yes, I 100%. I love repelling, like client repeller, man repeller, client.
Literally, whatever it is, just repel them all. We don't want them. Any bad vibes, go away.
I literally do that with my business. People always like, oh, so like, who do you work with? And I'm like, it's not really like an industry. It's more of a vibe.
Yeah.
If you don't match my vibe, you won't want to work with me, and that's completely fine.
No, exactly. And then you don't want to work with them. And we have to remember that, right? Like often we're like, well, they won't want to work with us, but actually we don't want to work with them. And that's
Ex-
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. Speaking about getting your content out there, you are basically like LinkedIn's biggest fan. Like,
Big fan.
tell us more about how LinkedIn has just changed the game for you.
So I can't remember exactly when I got into LinkedIn. It was around the time when I was really struggling with Instagram because of feeling like other people were doing so much better than me. That's sort of the mindset I got into. And looking back, I should have just blocked them. Like I didn't need to leave the whole platform, but I did. And I kind of discovered LinkedIn and I really love it because I like changing people's perceptions on it because people see it as this like really formal, boring business platform. I really like helping people to show up as themselves online, which is all part of the authentic marketing side of things, but also to then get work from it and to actually find other people that want to just have a good time and like, build businesses. It's not that we're just being silly, but like we're building businesses, but you can use what was traditionally quite a boring platform to do that really well. So LinkedIn, it is awesome. Like I would say last year I'd have said 90% of my work came from there. I would say this year it's gone down a bit just because I'm using Instagram more again, but it's incredible. Yeah, I highly recommend.
Love that. And yeah, I think people forget that that is where like decision makers hang out. Like I've almost stopped posting on Instagram. My Instagram is there to like exist at the
Yeah.
moment. But I feel like when I post something on Instagram, people are like, oh, cute, like go on with their day. Whereas when people like something on their LinkedIn, they're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Like, how do we work together? Like, can I connect you to this person? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Since you mentioned it, yes, you can. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of creatives are scared of LinkedIn because they do see it as the scary place, but they are forgetting that like this is where the people with money like
Yeah.
hang out, really.
Yeah, and you get to choose what it looks like. You're not on there to impress anybody. You're not trying to fit a mold. You get to choose what you do with it. And like, yeah, there's the people that occasionally come around commenting, this isn't Facebook. And like, I don't think I've ever had one like that. I've had some nasty stuff, but
Mm.
it's always about ridiculous things. It's never like, it's always just laughable, where you're like, go and get a life. Like, that's the kind of hate that I seem to attract, is people who have way too much time on their hands. But in terms of, yeah, LinkedIn versus Instagram, I really like both now, but for slightly different reasons. I like LinkedIn because it's much easier for your message to spread. Like if you're commenting, then that post then gets seen by more people. It doesn't really work like that on Instagram. It's more like they need to already be following you for it to kind of spread like that in the same way. But Instagram, I do very much feed is for cold audiences and a little bit of nurturing. Stories are where you sell, and that works. That works well. So it's different strategies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I love both, but they have different parts of my heart.
Fair enough. And you said stories are where you sell. Could you
Mm.
dig into that for us?
Yeah, well, so if we think about on Instagram, that people who look at your stories, they already follow you, generally, right? Like you might get one or two people who have a little snoop, but generally they already follow you. So you're not having to do the kind of, like the typical marketing funnel where you've got at the top, you've got your engagement content. So that's for cold audiences to bring people in. And then you have your sort of central point of your funnel, which is the consideration content. And that's where we're building trust. And then you have your conversion content, which is kind of sits at the bottom. And that will always get the least engagement, and it will be the ones that feel like, oh, no one's seeing this, but the right people are seeing it if you've got your message on point. So on stories, you've already done the engagement, you've already caught them in your net. You've probably already nurtured them to some extent. They've got a bit of trust with you. That's probably why they're watching your stories, because they probably quite like you. So then in the stories, you can talk more specifically than you would on your feed content to a colder audience. So you can go into the details. They know what you do already. So you can go into the detail of exactly how you help and what the solution is in your stories in order to sell. And you can put links in there as well, which you can't do in feed on Instagram.
That is a good
Yeah.
point. And then
Yeah.
do you use as well like the highlight reels as well for the stories, or are you not a massive user of those?
Do you mean like where it comes up sort of at the top on your...
Yeah, like I see a lot of people using those, like, especially like fashion influencers.
Mm.
They'll be like, click on my highlight reel for like May's links, and you're like, okay.
Yes, I actually don't, but that is something that I do need to bring into my Instagram more. That and trial reels, they are my areas that I'm kind of experimenting with a bit at the moment. Trial reels in theory can be amazing, but kind of hitting gold seems to be a bit of a guessing game still for most people.
Yeah, that is the thing with these platforms as well. They just like throw so many new things at you. Like
Yeah,
I just heard about the trial reels as well. For
yeah.
anyone who's not familiar, it's basically where you can post like a piece of content, but it won't go to your audience, right? It will just like see how it does in the general ether.
Normally, your content will go to followers first, see how they respond, and then it will see if it wants to share it to non-followers. Whereas if you share a trial reel, then it's only going to people who don't follow you. So you're really going for that top of funnel, like very kind of here's 5 posts that you should be sharing if you want to sell out your next launch, like that sort of thing. It's not so much about you, it's about giving that instant bit of value that might make someone want to come and follow you.
We're all just trying to keep up.
That's it, and we can't do everything, and I have to follow my own advice and be like, I know what works, keep doing that, and then we'll do bits of these other things, but without panicking ourselves, like, oh, I'm not doing that, oh, I've not done that, like, oh, I need to find time to do this. You can't do it all.
Exactly. And speaking of not being able to do it all, is it just you at the moment in the business, or do you rely on anyone else to help you out?
I am the only person who technically works for the business. I have some freelance support. I work with several people actually who are amazing. Someone sort of slightly more of a referral, kind of like, okay, they need paid ads. There you go, sort of thing. I have a lady who writes content, she's absolutely incredible. I have somebody who helps me with keeping on top of my LinkedIn connections and making sure I'm staying in touch with as many people as possible. My little sister does some work with me as well. She helps me, like, she helps make some graphics, and she does some kind of lead gen stuff on client accounts. And I have another lady who helps me like schedule clients' posts and just like other random things. I've just collected people basically, which I love.
I love how you describe that as well. I have this lady who does this and this lady who does that. It's just you're just collecting.
Way more than needed, to be honest, but they each have their own skill set, and I'm like, I like working with all of them, so let's just keep them all.
I mean, it takes a village, right?
And it means that if something like one of them's not been very well recently, and it means that then I've got other people I can ask to help, and I'm not just like, oh, suddenly it's all back on me. How can I possibly do it all? So
Mm,
I like it. My business coach is a bit like, do you need all those people? Like, yes, I do.
yeah.
Obviously, they're my little friends.
And talk to me about this new phase of your business as well. So you've just launched a program, which you spoke about briefly earlier, but tell us more about that. What are you excited about?
So the reason I've done it is called Spotlight currently. I'm going to change the name, but it's currently called Spotlight. The reason I've done it is because realistically, not everyone can afford one-to-one support. But also, I love teaching as a group, and I've discovered this is actually the 5th launch that I've done in the last 8 months. And so
Mm.
I've got into a bit of a cycle with it. But in that, I've done two or three, I've lost track slightly, of the group programs for various things. Like I did one that was specifically on LinkedIn, for example. And I really enjoyed how people were coming together and sharing ideas. And so then when I was putting this one together, I was like, I don't want it to just be me teaching for an hour each week, because at the end of the day as well, people can go on ChatGPT and learn a lot of stuff. You can go on YouTube and learn a lot of stuff. What we can't get is that human interaction. So I really wanted it to be like great minds coming together, basically. And so what we've got this time is we've got 10 business owners who are all incredible in what they do, different stages of business. Some have been in it for years, some are literally brand new. But they've all got in common the fact that they don't have a clear marketing strategy in their business. They might not describe it as that, but that is what the problem is. They have gaps. So they're not making sales as much as they would like. They never quite know where to focus their attention or their energy. And so much of that is because they're just getting amazing results. Like the little shifts are often what can make the big difference. So that's kind of my core focus now. And I'm still doing one-to-one. But the group is for people who, well, want a group experience, obviously, but who need to be actually getting more consistent leads coming in, to be making everything feel like it's got a nice flow in their marketing, all of that. And then one-to-one is for people who probably are signing one-to-one clients quite regularly already, but they would like it to feel easier, for their messaging to be stronger, so they can maybe put their prices up and still bring in leads. Maybe they want to launch a group program, or they've tried before and it's not been quite as successful as they wanted, so they need somebody there to give them a bit of a shove, keep their energy up during that launch phase where you're like, I am a failure, everything's terrible, like, etc. So those are my two core focuses now, and I've had to kind of push myself to simplify that, because I was trying to do so much before, and it just, you can't do all of it, and I was getting myself so burnt out and so knackered. I was like, what do I actually want the business to look like? How do I want to serve people? And these two offers are kind of my priorities.
Amazing. And how would you say, like, business model wise, what sort of percentage is coming from your group programs versus your like one-to-one work?
It will be, like, revenue wise, it will
Mm.
probably be about 70%, I would say, group in the future.
Nice.
um right now it's probably a bit heavier on the one-to-one, because I've got more one-to-one clients right now than I'd probably like, just from the point that I want to be giving them a lot of support. Like, when you work one-to-one with me, I give you so much of my energy and so much support. But then for me, when I have several, and I think I've got 6 or 7 at the moment, and it just is quite hard to kind of keep everything in my head and make sure I'm fully supporting everybody. So that's partly why I want to move a bit more to group, because it's got the structure, and then I can give full energy to people in one-to-one still.
Enough. I feel like that is such like a almost a natural rite of passage to anyone who is a service provider. Like you almost spend a few years like honing your method with your one-to-one clients and almost to the point where, at least for me, because I'm definitely following this rite of passage at the moment, and I can do it in my sleep because I just do the same thing every time, to the
Literally.
point where it starts to like drain your energy, and then you're like, no, I need to make this more scalable,
Yeah,
actually.
that's it. It's like one-to-one is easier to sell, I would say.
Yeah.
If you're launching a group, and say if you do want to fill 10 spaces, your group's starting on a certain date, you've got to fill them by that date. Whereas one-to-one, obviously, it can be a little bit more flexible. You might sign 2 one month, 1 the next month, whatever it might be. So yeah, you're right. That is generally how it goes. Often we do done for you to start with, because we like to say, here you go, have this, I made you this, and it feels more worth the money. Then we go into like, okay, well, I can't scale this. Let's start doing like coaching or consulting, or however it is. And then you fill that up. And then, like you say, you go, well, I've not got any more time now. I can't keep exchanging my time for money. What's next? And that's where group stuff comes in. And that's the kind of space where my one-to-one mentoring sits as well.
Yeah. I mean, if we were clever people at the beginning, we would have done it the other way around, right? But then so that you scale upwards rather than like back down, I
Yeah.
guess. But sometimes you almost need to learn the lesson the hard way so you know what you're selling in that like scalable format. But hey.
Yeah, I think having a course right at the start, or a program or whatever, I think that's a really hard way to do it. I actually have a client I'm working with at the moment who came to me wanting to launch groups, but it was a brand new business. So she didn't have the demand there, she didn't have the testimonials, she didn't have kind of what she needed almost to be able to make those groups really successful. So now she's gone back to offering one-to-one, and it feels it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot simpler. Like you say, you can completely refine what you're doing within that, rather than starting this group and then having to figure it all out. And the messaging around a group, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, is hard to get spot on.
And so, how do you find people to fill up your group? Like, what does that funnel look like for you?
So I have a free monthly session, which anyone listening is very welcome to come to. It's
I'm
called the Monthly Meetup, and we cover a different topic each time. So it's an hour long, and it's essentially a mix of networking and coaching. So I've recently introduced a training segment to it as well. So for example, the next one that's coming up will be on conversion content. So I've got a 10-minute training that I'll do at the start that just teaches, like, why do we need to be sharing specific conversion content, how do we do it well, etc., etc. And then people go into breakout rooms, they go into twos or threes, and in there they are given questions to discuss. So with that, it will be like, share a piece of your content with the other person that's supposed to be a conversion piece, like, is it hitting the mark? Is it clear? Is it obvious what you're selling, etc.? And then we come back with a bit of a group discussion, and then they go back into a breakout and set an action. Those convert really well for me because it gives people a chance to come along and just get to know me a bit and just like have a chat, see how I work, see that I actually do know what I'm talking about. And then so that converts really well. So then when I have got a group launch coming up or whatever it might be, then I've got a pool of people. It also builds my email list, but I've then got a pool of people who I can say, like, this is perfect for you. Do you want to be part of it? So you can give that invite, but they already know you. That is one of my key things. I am very, very big on building relationships, which comes back to the human marketing, but I have very good relationships with a lot of people. So then again, when there's something that I know will fit their specific situation, it's very easy to go, by the way, I'm doing this. Do you want to be part of it? And so having those relationships, you're not always trying to sell to a cold audience, is really, really important. Then obviously my content comes into that, but a lot of my sales come from having conversations with people where they've seen my content, they've seen one of my masterclasses, they've listened to a podcast, they've done whatever it might be. They know they want to work with me.
Relationship nurturing is a skill, and I think it's harder than people think because it is quite time consuming. Like, would you agree?
I have to always make this point with clients. They'll be like, but I spoke to people, I invited 3 people. I'm like, that's not enough.
You're just like, ooh.
Please more. So I think that's something people don't realize, is that it's not just like, okay, well, when I want to sell something, I'll message a few people and they'll sign up. It's like, I don't want to say it's a numbers game, but it, to a certain extent, it is, that you have to be having so many conversations and have so many relationships because everyone's in different places. Like, someone will say no now, and next year they'll be the first one in the door. But it's making sure that you've got enough relationships, that you've got enough people there to fill up your offers effectively.
And that you are constantly putting in touch points that make people think of you, which for you is your monthly masterclass, essentially. So
yeah, it's my emails as well that you mentioned earlier, and it's content. And one thing to remember with content is that lurkers are often the best buyers. And so it's very easy to think like, oh, well, no one's really liking my posts, or like, no one's been commenting really. Then you get a message in your inbox from somebody who goes, I've been looking at your content for the last couple of years and like, I love it and I want to work with you. And I'm like, who on earth are you? That's the other side from the relationship side, is that actually in your content, you can be showing enough of who you are, what you do, the value you bring, that somebody is just watching and then they'll suddenly be ready to pounce. And they are the best buyers because they have no questions because you've answered it all in your content. They know that they completely trust you, so they're not going to be difficult. They are amazing buyers, and we undervalue that a lot.
I literally had that happen to me the other day.
Yeah.
Because my newsletters are they're a bit left, they're a bit rogue, they are not what you expect from a newsletter. They're a bit arty, it's very visual, it's like a magazine kind of. The open rates have dropped, but I'm like, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna still put out this thing that I love.
Yeah.
And the people who open them love them. And one of those did convert into like a client and then even a referral. So it's just like, okay, just like put out the things that you love, no matter how wacky it is.
Yes.
And the people who love it will love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to that like first point of my framework of the purpose and the personality, because otherwise we're just sitting on a fence. If you try and please everybody, you're just like, everyone's milling about below on both sides of this fence. You're sat up the top and no one's looking at you because you're not in either camp. And so that side of it is really important. And like one of my most successful clients, he's a leadership coach, and he doesn't get good engagement on his LinkedIn content at all. But it's because, well, firstly, no one wants to admit they're struggling as a leader. So no, and that's always something to bear in mind, like industry by industry. Do people want to be showing up as having that problem? But he's really strong on his message. Like he is very much supporting women. He thinks men are the problem in the workplace, like all of this stuff, which I love. But he's so open about it in his content. So in the DMs, people are like, thank you so much for sharing that. I actually really need help. Can we have a chat? And he makes amazing sales by being so brutal, basically, and so in his like area of specialism and standing up for what he believes in. And it's really important, even if it means you don't get the engagement, you'll get the sales.
I've loved diving into your business journey, and we will put the links to all of your amazing things
Awesome.
in the show notes.
Hope you're enjoying the show. Would love to hear what you're thinking. Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Even better, if you're loving the show, take 2 seconds to rate us 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. It really helps other people find us. And if you want to be a guest, details in the show notes on how to sign up. Now, let's jump back in.
Now, let's move on to things that bring you joy. And so I always start off this section with music, and we did have a little bit of chat about this earlier, so I'm excited for your answer.
Yeah.
What is your ultimate hype song?
So we're talking about this, and I've never been a particularly like into music person. I'll just put the radio on, just like whatever's on is on. But I asked my sister, and she said that it had to be Foundations by Kate Nash. And she has requested that I sing it at her wedding. I'm a terrible singer. Like, I'm really hoping she's joking, but I don't think she is. But yeah, I think either Foundations by Kate Nash, or currently I'm loving Labour by Paris Paloma. Is that her name?
Okay.
Do you know the one?
No, I don't. Oh, what kind of genre is it?
It's very girl power. It's literally about how men drain us.
Sick.
I think you'll love it. But yeah, that's the one, like if I've got like a meeting I'm a bit nervous for, or I'm doing a training or whatever, I'll put that on and I'll dance around the house. That's that song at the moment.
Oh, also meeting related music hack. What I do, because when I'm on a meeting, I'll have my earphones in. I will have like Spotify going in the background. Like the client can't hear that I've got music on in the background, but I can hear the music in the background. So I'm just
Doesn't that really distract you?
No, it honestly doesn't. Sometimes it'll just be like jazz. It's just like instrumental. If I'm really stressed out, it'll be like a sound bath.
Yeah, so it's not got words in it.
Yeah, so I'm just there like zen.
Yeah. I love the idea.
I think just music is something that really like grounds me as a human. So my brain, it just works for my brain. But
yeah, calms you. Yeah, I get that.
Speaking of things that calm you, do you have any personal policies that keep you grounded?
A daily walk is a big one for me. So literally right before we're recording this, I was out for my little lunchtime walk. Some days it's more appealing than others, isn't it? Yesterday I stepped out the door with my giant puffer on, and literally one step out the house I was like, I want to go home, because it was tipping it down with rain and windy and cold. But every day I have to get outside. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 2 hours, but I have to get outside. I make sure I do it again before anything that I'm a bit nervous of, because it definitely grounds me a lot. And I just need to get fitter, basically. That's part of it.
I think similar on my side. I typically always say in this bit, like, I don't take calls before 10 a.m. That still has not changed, but recently it's more, you will strip away my 7 a.m. bar class on a Monday from my cold dead hands.
Yeah.
Like if I do not do that on a Monday, my whole week is just ruined.
Yeah. And we all have our little things, don't we? Like, take that away from me and I can't cope with it.
Thank you to Innerform. Shout out to Innerform and Lewisham. Yeah. And let's talk style. Like, how would you describe your personal style uniform? Any brands that you're loving? Style icons?
I can't claim to be a big follower of fashion. I love Oliver Bonas. This is Oliver Bonas, this is a jumpsuit. And next, because I love colour, like I'm really trying to get more colour into my wardrobe. most shops are very muted. Brown's very fashionable, all of this, which is all awesome. But I'm like, I want more colour, not less, you know? So I think that's why I like Oliver Bonas, and Next do a lot of good colour. M&S as well.
Oh, love
Super
it.
old.
Love M&S. But
I
you
want
know
to
what? A lot of these places that you've mentioned, they've kind of had a bit of a revamp
yeah,
recently where the
yeah.
stuff is actually quite nice. Like it's not
It
just
is.
stuff your mum would wear.
It's not
Like I walk into M&S now and I'm like, oh, that jacket is looking kind of nice.
Yes, they've done very well. We were like, have they revamped or are we just old? Like, which one is it? Bit of both.
It's a bit of both, but I
Yeah.
like to focus more on the revamp.
But I would probably describe my style as chaotic. I'm not a slick person by any means. A friend the other day said that something about me being really stylish, and I just laughed. I was like, you what? Like, you mean this old thing? Like, but probably a bit boho as well, I would say quite often. I like a good floaty dress.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Yeah.
like the secret to not, because I feel like I'm in a similar camp to you. The
Mm.
secret to like looking stylish but not necessarily like being stylish is like
Yeah.
that doesn't like consume your soul, at least for me. It's just like figuring out like what silhouettes
Yeah.
work for you and just like going for that every time.
Yes, I've definitely learned so much. I'm very, very pear-shaped, and I've definitely learned a lot about that over the years. Like it goes back to my mum when I was little being like, that doesn't really suit you. And I'm like, oh, that's really sad. But now I'm like, no, it didn't suit me. Like I just shouldn't have been wearing it. And I hate materials being too close to me,
Yeah.
particularly around my stomach. So I never wear jeans. It's always like a jumpsuit, a dress, stretchy, floaty trousers. And so it's like finding a way to do that, be comfortable while also not looking like a complete slob all the time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, just like uniform, like
Yeah.
this outfit.
I could get rid of probably 75% of my wardrobe and I wouldn't notice the difference because I just don't wear it. It's just
Yeah.
there. Yes.
Amazing. Now let's chat beauty. Like, do you have any hero beauty products that you want to shout out, recommend?
I mean, again, as you can see, I don't wear a lot of makeup. What I swear by is Origins. It's like a BB cream, and so it makes you a little bit glowy. It makes you look a lot healthier than you are. It just kind of blends everything a little bit, you know. That is my thing. And it's also, I think, 40 SPF, or SPF 40, however you say it. So I use that like throughout the summer. That's like all I have. That's my favorite. And then there's a tanning drops, but I can't remember what the brand is. And I can always let you know, and you can put it in the show notes or whatever. But they're really good because you literally just mix them in with moisturizer and then just put that on every few days, and it just makes you look a little bit tanned. I'm a very pale and pasty person, so it's just nice to feel like you've got a bit of colour to you, particularly when it's like middle of winter.
Yeah, no, I
Yes.
am a big fan of tan. Grey Bay is a tan for melanated skin that Phoebe was on the show, I think last year. They're really good for anyone listening with melanated skin, but is the one that you're thinking of, they're called like Island something?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
realised the other day, and I'm like a third of the way through it. Like it lasts such a long time. So although it's like 28 quid or whatever ridiculous price for this little bottle, if it's going to last you, well, if that works out, that'd be 6 years that would last me. Probably worth 28 quid.
Yeah, you know what? I say pick a struggle. You can't be seasonally depressed and grey. Like,
Yes.
it's
Can't
too
do it all.
much.
I'm also, I think they're called Nip and Fab. The like
Kind of.
they do like moisturize and stuff like that. I love their stuff. Like I just want to feel a bit fresh and glowy, you know? So they've got like some really nice serums, a really nice like overnight cream that I love. Like I do just love smoothing things onto my skin. Like it's just really addictive, isn't it? Just like a nice smoothing, going to bed, feeling fresh, smelling beautiful. I love it.
Amazing. I think I have heard of it actually.
Yeah, they are good, and because they're not crazy expensive,
Mm.
you can get one of these sets for like, I don't know, 40 quid or something. And then again, it lasts quite a long time compared to a 40 quid bottle that lasts you a month.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why stuff is like price high because like it will just last you.
Yeah, I just don't like paying loads of money. If it doesn't really do that much and it
Mm.
doesn't last very long, I'm like, that was a waste.
Yeah, no, I see that with makeup actually. Like I wear, there is just like one blush from NARS, I think, that just like works for me. I'm like this one
Mm.
every day.
Yeah.
Um, I just ran out of it, and the last time I bought it was 4 years ago. So I was like, okay, it's
Wow,
fine. I will just pay the £40 again. It's
that's
£10
fine.
per year.
Yes, that's totally fine. And Glossier, I don't know how you say it,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
but I
yeah.
really like their blush. And again, lasts forever. Like I don't know how long I've had that, but years, and it's like at least half full still. So it's finding those things. It's finding the right thing for you, isn't it? 'Cause what's right for someone else, you'll try and be like, that's too dark or too light or, whatever. It's finding your thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's talk tech. Do you have a tech stack or like tools that you just absolutely lean on to do your work?
I am not big on having loads of different tools. I use MailerLite. That's probably one of the ones I use the most. I use that for my landing pages. My payments go through there as well. If you're buying like a digital product or something, or like an event ticket, that goes through there via Stripe. So that's all integrated. So I can make a landing page, I can kind of insert a product, and then if someone buys it, it will put them straight onto the email automation about it. So I love MailerLite. All my emails and stuff go through there. I use Asana so clients that have their content done for them, I use Asana for approvals and like for storing their content and stuff. I use Motion, which I don't know if you've come across, Motion AI. I really like that and it keeps me organized. All my meetings are in there, all my tasks are in there. So it means I can literally just start my day and be like, what am I supposed to be doing today? I don't have to know. I just
Yeah.
open up my screen and it's like, this is what you're doing. These are the tasks that needs to be done. Those are probably the things I use the most. And then a little bit of like, I use Voxer for messaging clients and Slack a little bit for messaging clients. But primarily those are my things.
What's Voxer? I've never heard of that one.
It's just a messaging app, so it's very like WhatsApp. But for me, I don't have a work WhatsApp, and I don't want to be on my phone in the evening and having like
Yeah.
the nicest way, having client messages come through because then I'll want to answer it right away, and then I'm straight back into work mode. So I use Voxer for work. It's totally free. I actually do have the paid version, but it's £5 a month, and all that means is I can transcribe the voice notes. So I like that because sometimes you want to be able to copy and paste what they've said or, whatever. But yeah, it's just a messaging app, basically.
Yeah, I'm fair enough. I'm so with you about not having clients on WhatsApp. So I get asked for it so much. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, it's
This is
got
my last safe
to be.
space. Like, I don't want you in my WhatsApp.
And
Like,
like
we
as
can do
much,
this over email.
yeah, you just like you need to be able to switch off from work. It's nothing against them. You just need to be able to switch off, don't you? That's all it is.
Literally.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And I have to do a self plug here for anyone who is listening. I run a monthly academy, and if you want to find out more information about that, that will be in the show notes if you want to level up your Notion game. But cool. I want to know about business resources that you love. Early, you said that you listen to a lot of podcasts. Are there any podcasts you want to shout out? Any books, newsletters, that kind of thing?
I'm terrible at reading newsletters. And we were saying earlier about how for me, if something's not a habit, I just won't do it. So like I have my time carved out for LinkedIn and for Instagram, but there's no time for reading newsletters. So that just doesn't happen. Podcasts, I really love Conversations of Inspiration by Holly Tucker. That's one of my favorites. So she was the founder of Not on the High Street, if you don't know. Which I didn't know before the podcast. I had no idea where that had appeared from. But she tells the story of how she started it as like a little online marketplace to help small creators. And obviously now it's this amazing, amazing, huge platform. But she interviews people like she's interviewed Joe Malone. She's interviewed like the founder of Bowden, like people like that. And they just tell their really raw story of how they got into business. And I find it so inspiring because these people have built these, international, incredible brands. And they're just there like, yeah, I just was like figuring things out at the kitchen table, really. And, if I'd known how hard it would have been, I wouldn't have done it. Like all of that. And I find that really inspiring because they're not going, yes, I had 15 business degrees and, this amount of years working with this huge company. They're just people. So that's one of my all-time favorites. But yes, Conversations of Inspiration, I would recommend.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah,
Podcasts like that.
it's really nice.
Oh, hey again. Did you know there are roughly 100,000 London business babes out there? And we're on a mission to reach as many as possible. Enjoying what you hear? To support the hours of work that goes into making this special, you can either A, Consider supporting directly as a paid monthly Substack subscriber to also unlock future exclusive content for less than a coffee and a croissant. Any brands listening? We'd love to explore ways for you to be part of the journey. See, at the very least, on your next co-working date, tell a fellow London business babe about us. Details in the show notes. Now let's jump back in.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. Now we are going to shift on to London. And so, for people listening, where are you based in the city?
So I'm actually based outside of London now, but I used to live in Nine Elms, which I loved actually. It was a typical like share house, grimy boys, like all of that. So don't miss that. But I do miss, like I used to be able to just walk. It was quite far, but I could walk to like Covent Garden, which is one of my favourite places in the world. Walk like along the Thames, like all of that. I absolutely love London.
Absolutely. Where have you moved to now?
So I'm back where I'm from, which is, well, I'm in Bognor Regis, just in West Sussex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Chichester, which is like the town next door, but it's too expensive there. So I live next door. Like I can get into London about an hour and a half on the train. So I come in like once or twice a month for events and stuff like that. I'm in for a couple of days next week actually. But I missed the sea too much. Like I'm from the seaside and I just wanted to be back by the sea.
I feel like that is such a shift that I'm seeing at the moment. Is a lot of people sort of around like our age as well are just like, I've done my time in the hustle. Like I've
Yeah.
built the networks that I need to build and I'll just come in when I need to. Oh.
Particularly with remote working, it's different for us, obviously, we're self-employed, but we've got friends who are working the big city jobs, but they can live somewhere where it's cheaper and they've got the countryside, so then you're getting the best of both worlds. And with remote working, I think more and more people are doing that. You're getting the nice London salary, but you're not living there, which is kind of ideal.
Yeah, and to be honest, like an hour and a half is not bad. Like sometimes it takes me an hour and a half to get somewhere in London,
Yeah.
and I live in London, so
Literally, like I'll do it for a day trip quite happily, like that's fine. I'll go in for a few hours, meet someone for lunch or whatever, and that's fine. I can get my work done on the train. But I do miss being able to just like step out my door and just be in London and just all the options there are.
And do you have anything on your London bucket list that you're looking to do?
I think I did a really good job. I literally only lived in London for 7 months. And I remember when I first moved, I met who was actually now one of my VAs that works with me. I met her on Bumble Friends because I was like, where do we meet people? So I went on there and met some really cool people. And I remember saying to her, like, I'm just going to live in London for 6 months and do all of these things. And she laughed. And I was like, what? She was like, well, how are you going to do all of London in 6 months? But I did a pretty good job. Like it ended up being, I don't know, 7 or 8 months. But I did so much stuff, like so many of the cool restaurants and like pottery making and like just random things. But still, my all-time favorite is just Covent Garden. I don't know why. I've always loved it so much. I just get there and I'm like, oh, I'm like home.
Fair enough. And what were some of the restaurants that you went to, if you remember, that you want to shout out?
Where did I like? We did Six by Nico one time, which isn't just a London one, is it? But that was a cool experience. There's a dim sum one in Covent Garden, which I can't remember what it's called now. It might be called dim sum. But anyway, do you know the one I mean?
I think my brother used to live in Covent Garden, but I think I've walked past it.
I mean, this isn't just a London thing, but I do love a Pizza Pilgrims. Like, that's obviously not a nice, unique choice, but I absolutely love that. I went to Edinburgh last weekend and we found one there and I was very happy. So we do have those things in a small town,
Yeah. So I went to an event for women in agencies last night, and Pizza Pilgrims was the food. So
nice.
So popular choice.
So tasty. Yes.
Fair enough. Are you part of any like member networks or spaces or anything like that?
Primarily, it's like if one of my business coaches is putting on an event, for example, like my own event will be in London. I think it's just a really nice central point. A lot of the clients I work with are actually based up in the north. So London becomes quite a nice, like if I'm doing a VIP day or something, it becomes a nice central point. I used to be in BNI. I don't know if you've come across BNI, the networking group.
Is that the breakfast thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked a bit scary, and I was like, I don't know if this
It
is
is
for
scary.
me.
It is. Like,
Everyone was in suits, and I was like, I don't think this is for
yeah.
me.
I mean, to be fair, the one I used to go to, it was literally, so bearing in mind I lived in Nine Elms, this was in a Crystal Palace football stadium. So it literally took me an hour and a half on the bus there and then back again. It was ridiculous how far I went to get to this group every single week. They weren't suited and booted people. They were just nice people, but they were too early in business to kind of for it to work. But anyway, that's a different story. But that was the only kind of like group, I suppose, that I was part of. And I don't recommend unless you like being told what to do, which I don't think any of us really do.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
No.
Fair enough. And are we able to shout out your business coach?
Yeah, so the main one is Laura Brunton. She's also big on LinkedIn and Instagram. She calls herself like the coach for vibrant women looking to scale or something like that.
Ooh.
So she's such a hype woman. You know those people that you come across and you're like, I just feel so good around her, and like she makes you feel like you can do absolutely anything. So I would, yeah, definitely recommend.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry if it's a lot to take in. All of the amazing tools, spots, and recommendations mentioned by our guests can be found in the Coffee and Oysters guide. Details in the show notes.
Thank you for giving us your mini guide on London as someone who deeply experienced the city, it seems like, for a short period of time.
Yes. Yeah. So I crammed it all in. I did it all.
Amazing. So we're going to round up with some celebrations. I like to say we are our own biggest cheerleaders and each other's biggest cheerleaders. And so what is a recent win that you are proud of and a recent win of someone else's that you are proud of?
Recent win that I'm proud of would be filling this group program and therefore the results that they're getting as well. Like I'm really proud of that. It lights me up. Like someone asked me ages ago, like, what do I enjoy most about my work? And I literally said, like, it's when people's faces light up, when I can share something with them that makes them go, oh, didn't think of it like that. And so that's always my proudest thing. So that's what I'm proud of for myself. For other people, I mean, back to my business coach, she is running an event in May called Ignited Women, which if this goes out in time, I'd hugely recommend coming along. And she sold like nearly 200 tickets now. And like, that's just insane. It's really hard to sell event tickets. So good for her. And I would also shout out one of my clients who used all the strategy to talk about and just made 15K in 6 weeks purely from LinkedIn with like less than an hour a day, just knowing exactly where to focus. So very proud of him as well.
Fantastic. I mean, the results speak for themselves there, don't they?
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Amazing. And so I always ask if there's anything that you want to plug and anything that you need help with. I feel like we are plugging. What are we plugging here for you?
Would love people to come along to the free sessions because they're just really good fun. Come and meet me. You'll learn something, you'll take away an action. If those marketing foundations are feeling a little bit messy right now and you're kind of just stabbing in the dark, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping it will stick, all of that, then book a call and let's just have a chat and see if it's right for you, because it's a lot of fun and people are sharing great ideas in this round.
Fantastic. And is there anything that you need help with?
I mean, I'm very up for chatting on more podcasts because it's all helping me feel more confident about my public speaking, which is the thing that really scares me. So if anyone would like me to come on their podcast and have a chat, or even more terrifyingly get on their stage and talk to them, then please do drop me a message.
And then lastly, I always like to say you never know who's listening. Do you have any like dream collaborations that you would love to do?
Ooh. Do you know who Daniel Priestley is? He's a big like marketing guy.
I feel like his name sounds really familiar.
Just one of those names. But I would love to collaborate with somebody like that, like for somebody that's so respected in their industry to want to speak to me, little old me. That would be the absolute dream.
Well, from your mouth to the universe's ears.
Yeah, I did get to meet him last year and he's a very nice guy. I don't think he was begging me to be on his podcast anytime soon.
You never know what other opportunities could come up.
You never know. Exactly. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? So
well, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been Fabulous. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn is honestly the best place. LinkedIn and Instagram, come and find me. LinkedIn, it's just Meg Hutson, and Instagram, it's Meg Hutson. But yeah, would love to hear from anyone that listens to this, and hopefully it's been some good takeaways from people as well to learn from my lessons and not repeat my errors, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Thanks for listening. Get in touch at coffeeandoysters@gmail.com. Stay connected at Coffee and Oysters Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And never miss out by subscribing to Substack. Details in the show notes. And most importantly, keep those 5-star ratings coming, and see you next time.